Hi guys, I'm Jing Hong from ASRJC, and today I'm going to continue with SQL, with Flask, and add on to it, which is SQL. So hopefully I've watched the previous two videos that on how I made this web app where you can input a name and submit it and get output to the website. So now I'll continue on how we can store the data that we input and output it afterwards again. So what database we are making today will be, as you can see above, SQL. So what is SQL? SQL is a programming language used for managing and manipulating relational databases. Its full name is Structured Query Language. It allows users to query data, update records, insert new data, and delete existing data from a database. SQL is essential for interacting with databases in various applications, from simple websites to complex enterprise systems. So let's start. So firstly, when we use SQL, what we firstly need to do is we got to import the module called SQLite 3. This is the module that we are using today. So when we now import this module, what we first have to do is connect to the database that we want to use. So this line here, line 6, db equals to SQLite3.connect database.db. So what this does is that if the database does not exist, it exists now, this will create the database with this name that's empty. And if it already exists, it will connect to this database and retrieve all the values in it after we do some commands to it. So now let's try. As you can see, that's already existing. So when I delete this, it's not there anymore. But if I run it again, tada, it comes out again. So it will create this database if it's not there already. So secondly, in SQL, we will need something called a cursor object. So why is a cursor object used? So here are some key reasons why you need cursor objects. Cursor allows for sequential access to query results. This is useful when you process each row individually or perform operations based on the current row before moving to the next one. This is so that you get a this is so that you can have a better manage or a more accurate, a better way to access the specific data you want by using a cursor object. And so after you create a cursor object, what you can do is that you can execute the SQL query language within this something called just doing cursor to execute, and then you type in a command in caps and just put in as a string to execute it. So I'll now start to explain line 9. What line 9 does is that it creates a table if it does not exist, the table called users. So in a database, there can be many tables. So of course the database can't just store one table. That would be not enough. So for you to store more things, you got to create more tables. So you got to create a table called users. In this case, because we want to save the users like name and output it afterwards. So in every table, you need something called the ID, primary key actually. So in this case, the primary key is the ID, which is integer, and it will increase by itself, auto increment. And the name here will be the data that we want to store, which is the name of the person that submits it here. And that's basically the gist of it here. And for databases, we'll definitely need to commit, and this is because we have to ensure data integrity, and this helps to ensure that the data will not be lost in case of a system failure once it's committed. And after we are done with doing everything inside a database, we have to close it so that nothing else can be done to the database. So this is like the workflow of using SQL. Next, I'll move on to implementing this to the thing we have right here.